All right, so this is going to be my attempt to sort of demystify Luas and explain sort of what they are um, and how to use them at like a sort of beginner level. For anyone that's curious, maybe you're feeling overwhelmed. It looks like a lot of code. It's hard to kind of even understand why people are so excited about them. So, the way I understand it, a Lua is essentially an alternative to using the normal macros for gear swaps. So instead of having to type in, like wait 1 second, then switch to gear set 16, and then go do this thing and all that, you don't have to type all that in, um, because somebody out there, somebody who's really good at coding, coded up a Lua document that does all that gear swapping for you. It's almost like an auto gear swap. Um, I was going to show you on that crab. We got Monkey and Filzy going off. All right. Let's do it on this dyno. So I've got all, you can see all this gear over here on the right. I got the Lua enabled, and you'll notice, so this would be called like my idle set. And then when I engage this dyno, boom, look, it's switched over. Because in this Lua document, I have this set up to switch to this as my like normal engaged set. Let's say I want to use boost. I have some gear that gets swapped in for that. Hit boost, boom. You see some gloves just changed. Same thing for focused. My headpiece changed. Dodge, foot changed. I don't have any for berserk. But counter, yep, that changed as well. So all of those have been adjusted in the Lua document, and I'll show you that here in a moment. Let's kill this dino. Chakra is also set up. Boom, whole bunch of gear for that bad boy. And then same with the weapon skill here. And you'll notice in my macros, here, I got this. This is what I'm using. All I have is just job ability chakra. There's no equip set changes happening here. So it's really great. And you'll notice that as soon as the battle's done, boom, it goes right back to my idle set. So it's really wonderful. It's hard to want to go back to the normal macro books after this. So let's explain how to do this. Let's log off here. So now I'm on the Steam Deck, so it's using Linux, but things shouldn't be that much different if you're on the PC. And we can explain that a little more here in a second. But so let's say the first thing we got to do, we open Horizon, we go into the launcher. All right. Now we go to our extensions here over in add-ons. We go down a bit. Lu Ashita Cast on. We got to make sure that's turned on. So that's first thing that we're going to do. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go into, we need to find a Lua file. You don't need to make a Lua file. I thought when I was first learning this that I had to like code and make a Lua file and do all that. That is false. And that felt like a big game changer when I realized that. I didn't understand why people would share these Luas and just be like, here you go. You're set free now. Go use a Lua. But that's only part of it. So what I would do is I would go onto the Horizon Discord and just search around for a Lua. Type in, let's say you're a monk. You type in monk Lua. and people will be chatting about it, and they'll share these files, these Lua files, and just start somewhere. If lots of people are talking about one and they like it, just try it out. If you're a different job, a black mage or whatever you are, just search around. People are sharing these files, and so just download one and play around with it. Once you download that, it'll go into your downloads folder. I've already done this part. And then you need to drag it to a specific location. And I'm sure, I don't know this for sure, actually, but on PC, I imagine that the directories are similar. But here's where I put it. So we have our Horizon folder. Go to Game. Then we want to go to Config, Add-ons, because we just checked Luas Sheetacast. It's on now. So there's Luas Sheetacast. These are my mules, but here's old Rusty. Click on that, and here's my Luas. This is where we want to put our Lua. So take a good look at this pathway to success. All right. So then let's open up our Lua here. All right, this is me from the future watching this video. And one thing I want to mention is that because I'm on the Steam Deck, it has this software called Kate, which I guess, I don't remember if it came with the Steam Deck or if I had to download this coding software separately, but this is the program I use to adjust or work with the Lua file. If you're on the PC, I've heard that an app called Notepad++, I think it's free. Don't quote me on that, but that is a piece of software that you can use to basically do the same thing. Now you look at this and you think, oh Lord, this looks like a lot of jargon, gobbledygook. I don't understand all this. And I don't understand all this. Again, somebody else wrote this. All this code. I don't know what this means. Profile.on unload? I don't know. Else ifs and ifs? Somebody else did this. A very smart coding individual did this. The part that we need to pay attention to, so let's start at the top, is all these sets. So here's my idle set. So I was just showing you that when I got done battling that dino, it went back to my idle set. And it'll just automatically load all that. There's one for town, as you're walking through town. I don't have the Ducal Achten yet, but if I did, it would automatically put the Ducal Achten on because, again, of all the super cool code that whoever wrote this put in there. This is the normal engaged set, so TP standard is what they named it. And here's all the gear. And this is all the stuff I've changed as I get gear and think, oh, maybe I actually want to use, I don't know, something other than the black belt. I could type it in and change it. Or I get a different ammo slot that I want to use. So there's all sorts of gear sets that you can change out. Here's this weapon skill gear set. So this is like an average weapon skill. We've got one in particular for Dragon Kick, because that is based off, I'm pretty sure, dexterity or vitality. I think it's vitality. And so that's all coded in there so that this guy's code will be like, hey, if Dragon Kick happens, equip this kick gear, Dragon Kick gear. And then when Dragon Kick's done, it'll go back to your regular engaged set. So that's how it works. This is the only thing we need to focus on is these sets. Okay, now that we know that, let's open the game back up. Okay, so here's old Rusty. There's that dino. And you'll see here that because I'm on Monk, not only did it load the Luas Sheetacast, there it is, add-ons, load Luas Sheetacast, it automatically loaded my Monk profile, which is nice. So that's already set up from the get-go. And again, we can engage the dino, and we'll show you again. So boom, engaged. It's switched to that TP standard set I showed you. You'll see again, boost, switch to those gloves. Same thing with focus to change my headpiece. It's all working beautifully. And I like to leave my little gear icon up just to like make sure that everything's working. It's satisfying to me. And let's kill this dino. Okay, so how do you switch stuff out and make it all work while still playing the game? Because you can do that. So I type in \LAC space disable. So now Luas Sheetacast is disabled. None of the gear swaps are going to happen. If I were to use boost again, which let's use boost again, you'll see that, oh, here we go, boost. There was no gear swapping that happened because it's not enabled. So this is just like kind of playing the game raw here. No macros, no Luas, no nothing. So let's go back to that Monk document. I want to put something in my evasion set. So the way the guy wrote this particular Lua is he set it up where you can actually change different idle sets, which is kind of cool. Control F12 to rotate, I think it is. Or maybe it's, yeah, there it is. TP sets. Control F11. So he has it labeled guard, and I'm just gonna change. There it is. I'm not really gonna use it for guard, so I'm just gonna make this guard set my evasion set. And so for my neck, let's see, where is that? Neck. Boom, guarding torque. Instead of that, I want the evasion torque. All right. So I'm going to save the document. It's now saved. We go back to the game. Do \LAC reload. All right. Now the Monk idle set's reloaded. Everything should be working. And then let's do his special cool thing where I change, you see engaged mode, guard. Again, not all Luas are like this. It's just the way the guy, I'm assuming it's a guy. It might be a lady. But they have it set up this way. Not all Luas are built the same. So you can see that my engaged set's completely different. Boom, there's the evasion torque. Feels like magic. I think I need to work on this. But anyway, that's all set up now. If we didn't make those changes, what would have been there is the guarding torque. This is taking a while. So we're going to switch on over to standard. You see that? Switched over to my standard set. Ooh. Gotta fix this. It changed my macro palette to beast. That's interesting. I want to be on that. Alright, let's kill this crab. Chi Blast. It has its own gear set. Alright. One final thing is you need specific names in your Lua document. You'll notice that like temple hose +1 is TPL period hose +1. It's abbreviated in a specific way. And to find that specific name, how I do it is I go to equipment up here. And then let's say I know I want to change out my pants or whatever. I go to where it's located, and it will show you how you should type it right here. TPL period space hose space +1. So it needs that abbreviation. All right, there is one other thing I wanted to mention after sort of looking over the footage. Is let's say you've got your Lua enabled and you want to use a re-raise hairpin or a warp cudgel, and you try to equip it, and the Lua overrides it, like because it's thinking, hey, the re-raise hairpin isn't supposed to be your headset, because what the Lua will do is it'll immediately be like no, and it will switch back to your normal idle set. Same thing with warp cudgel, but for whatever reason, on this monk one that I have, they must have coded it in this way. I don't quite know how they did it, but let's say I want to use the re-raise hairpin. It lets me keep it in that slot. So they must have added some sort of wizardry in their document to make that work, because I've used a different one where that doesn't exist. So let's say that doesn't exist. Is what you have to do is /LAC disable, like we did earlier, and then you can equip whatever, because it's not running. It's just running like normal. So then you use that. Once your re-raise hairpin or your warp cudgel's been used and you want to return to your Lua, you just type in /LAC space enable, and all slots enabled. It's set. Now you'll notice mine didn't automatically switch over to its normal idle set. Again, I think they coded it in this way. But if I want to force this one in particular to go back to my normal idle set, you might have just saw me do this just a few seconds ago, is I have this macro that's set up like an equip set, monk set, and then it sort of forces it back to normal. And hope that made sense, but that's it.